What is up, geeks? So today we have another DC review, and this time it is the KNIGHTSHADOW Batman from the DC Superheroes line. Now, DC Superheroes was a brand that came out in 2006. It's a brand made by Mattel. They came out with 6-inch figures, and this is actually the predecessor to the DC Universe Classics line, also by Mattel. Now, this Nightmare Batman, he looks so awesome. You've seen a review with a similar sculpt that I came out with a while ago, but I wanted to come out with this review, especially because we have the Nightmare Batman in Batman vs. Superman. So this is the KNIGHTSHADOW Batman. He looks like a ninja. He looks so awesome. So let's get into this review. So you can see here, he has a really cool sculpt. I love the head sculpt. I think the head sculpt is really nice. You kind of saw a version of this in Batman Begins, where his cowl is has no mouth, so that looks pretty cool. It reminds me of Batman Beyond. I like the white eyes there, and the way that they sculpted out the front of his mouth is pretty cool too. It's almost like a Black Panther kind of look, and the cape is great. It's a leather-looking cape, but here we have a flexible rubber. And I love the sculpt work that they use on the cape to make it look very nice. I like the pointed edges of the cape. I prefer that rather than a rounded or a straight line. I like the pointed cape. And his chest piece, his emblem in the center, looks pretty cool too. Now they have some sculpt work around it to make it pop out a little bit more. I love that. And it's a lighter gray. And what they did greatly was they used the same gray for his belt, which I love the way the belt turned out. It looks so cool. I like when his belt really looks like a utility belt. Like there's a lot of pockets and stuff that he can put inside. It looks great. All the different pouches there, and it continues around the back, which is a great feature. And even the center of it looks very good too. Good paint work. I mean, it's very clean. I do like the sculpting here too. It looks very nice. Now let's move on to the gauntlets. Now the gauntlet is very cool because you have a nice silver paint. It kind of is a little bit shiny, looks very good. And there's a more glossier paint for the black gloves, which looks very nice too. I really love this figure in general. This might be one of my favorite Batman figures that they've ever come out with. Definitely one of my favorite ones in my collection. But the paintwork is solid, the sculpt work is solid. You can even see like the definition in his gloves there. Some line work. Very cool. Now, this is just a figure-by-figure error that they had. It's not the figure in general that has this problem. It's just my particular figure has some bleeding around the edges here. You can see the black paint that was meant to be for the glove got caught up there for those gauntlets, but that's not too bad. It's not terrible. I mean, if they were matching on both sides, it would have looked better. Regardless whether it was more clean or if they were both sides were a little grittier like that, but it's okay. And his boots are consistent with his gloves. Got that shinier black paint there, that glossy paint. And I love how they use the treads for the boot here. It looks very cool, and it's easy to stand. It's pretty easy to stand because of that. And you can even see a bat logo there too, which is pretty cool. Would have loved some peg holes. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any peg holes, but it does stand pretty well. So let's get into articulation here. So the articulation is pretty consistent with DC Universe Classics. You got a nice head rotation left and right. He can look up a little bit. You'll have some help with the ab crunch there, but he looks down pretty well. There is a bit of head pivot. Now his arms go up that much, then they go forward and back. Got a nice bicep swivel there. His elbows go about 90 degrees, a little bit more than a little bit less than that. And you have a nice glove swivel right there, a mid-wrist swivel, so that's pretty nice. Because his wrist swivels, he doesn't have any hand rotation, which is completely fine. He has a nice ab crunch. He can really go forward. He can go back pretty well too, only hindered by the cape, which I like a lot. And they have a waist cut too, which I like. And just the ab crunch and the waist cut definitely makes it for me. I mean, that's great articulation for any figure. Now they have the popular and somewhat, infamous DC Universe Classics crotch pits. Now, this allows for great articulation, because, I mean, he could basically do a Jean-Claude Van Damme split. And you definitely want him to be flexible to do all the things that Batman can do. And it doesn't look too bad. So he can go forward that much, only hindered a little bit by the belt there. He can go back a pretty decent amount, also hindered by the belt. And then you have a mid-thigh rotation. Very good. And his knee can go 90 degrees, which is great. No boot swivel, but he does have forward and back on his ankles. Unfortunately, his ankle rocker is just a little bit. I mean, it's great that they do have the ankle rocker, but that pivot is very minimal, and it really won't make too much of a difference. It will make somewhat of a difference, you can see there, but not too much. But that's actually not too bad. His articulation is pretty good, so I can't complain about it. And like I said before, this is one of my favorite Batman figures. So I'm going to show him off with the Batman vs. Superman Batman figure. I actually did a review on that quite a while ago, so please check that out if you haven't. Here is the Batman vs. Superman figure next to the Nightmare Batman, or Night Shadow Batman, and they are about the same size. I'd say this guy's head is a lot bigger, the Batman vs. Superman, and of course you have a much thicker, Batman here than the other one. This guy is a little bit more ripped and cut. They look really cool standing next to each other. I'm really excited for Batman vs. Superman, guys, and there are a lot more Batman vs. Superman stuff that I have to review. So stay tuned for that. Of course, more Star Wars stuff as always. And once Civil War starts rolling around, we have some Marvel reviews as well. So a lot of things to look forward to. I hope you guys like the review. There will be a slideshow with a gallery of images at the end of this video, so please stay tuned for that. And until next time, embrace, express, and enjoy yourself. May the Force be with you always, my young Padawan.